Mr. Alan Stanford, Artistic Director and Executive Director of PICT Classic Theatre.
Yes, indeed.
And here we are in the beautiful Charity Randall Theatre on the set of your upcoming production.
Of our second production of the season, Waiting for Godot, which, funnily enough, was the play that brought me to Pittsburgh in the first place.
That's what I heard. And I've been enjoying reading about your illustrious career. You've got quite a resume.
Yes. I think it's 47 years as a professional this year.
Congratulations.
And feels terrible.
Well, you look great.
Aye.
Some things that stood out to me in particular, Ireland's leading expert on Oscar Wilde.
On Oscar Wilde, yes.
Whose wit I have always appreciated. And you directed Harold Pinter in a production of one of his very own plays that he himself wrote.
Yeah.
Now, I can't imagine directing a playwright in something they've written, let alone one with the prestige of Pinter. How did that go over?
Terrifying. No, we were doing at the Gate Theatre in Dublin. We were doing our second retrospective of his work, and it was decided that one of the plays that we would do was his play *The Collection*, and the director of the Gate, my friend to that moment, but not necessarily afterwards, Michael Colgan, said, Harold wants to be in *The Collection*. I said, oh, that's great. He said, and you're directing it. And I said, do I have any choice? He said, no, you're doing it. But it was a wonderful experience, and I got to know him quite well. And working with him on his own play, the discovery that one of the reasons his plays work so well is that Harold was first and foremost an actor.
For a theatre company like PICT, which specializes in Irish and classical theatre, I think they've found the right guy to
I hope so.
steer the ship here.
I
You're
hope so.
certainly well qualified.
I'm certainly qualified in Irish theatre, and I've been doing classic theatre all my life as well. I mean, I have a lifetime or a career of everything from 19th century theatre back to the Greeks. So in that double category of Irish and classic, and I like to use the word classic.
Rather than
classical is a particular period. I prefer the term classic because a play can be classic that was written 5 years ago. A classic play is that which is written and valid not just for its time but for all time. So that's the way that in future I plan to program. And that's why we've done over the last year. We've done a lot of rebranding of the company, not only in terms of how we operate in the management structure, but also how we appear, how we present ourselves. And the use of the thematic season, we've taken that on board in a big way, so that this year's season, Something Wicked This Way Comes, is an examination of that one word. What does wickedness mean? So we're not reforming ourselves, but we're re-examining the way we do plays and the kind of plays we do, and also in response to the audience, because we spent a lot of time last year talking to our audience.
That's great.
Listening to what they wanted. We did surveys, and so the kind of programming that we're doing is in direct response to what the audience are looking for.
Yeah, it's been quite a year for
It
PICT,
has.
and the new the title officially now is PICT Classic Theatre.
PICT Classic Theatre.
So we need to get
it's not
into
an
the habit
acronym.
of that.
It's not an acronym anymore. It used to be the acronym Pittsburgh Irish and Classical Theatre, but the word PICT is actually the Picts were a tribe of Celtic people who inhabited southern Scotland and the northern part of Ireland. They were a Celtic tribe who were, as it were, a pain in the butt in the side of the Roman Empire. So we, the Picts of Pittsburgh, will carry on that great tradition.
As we've been sitting here having a lovely conversation, I've been admiring your beard.
Many people do.
Yes, it's sort of your trademark.
Yes,
And,
yes. And the fact that I constantly stroke it, much to everybody else's amusement.
And during the Day of Giving, which took place here in Pittsburgh earlier this month, PICT set a goal of raising $15,000.
That's right.
And I believe that...
I need a drink.
Yes, I believe that you said if we raise $15,000, I will
shave off the beard.
You'll shave your beard. Well, in fact, PICT did raise $15,000.
Yes, indeed.
As a matter of fact, the theater raised $21,000. $182 and wait for it, 48 cents.
Who gave the 48 cents?
So is this going to be emotional for you?
Yes.
When was the last time you shaved?
About 3 years ago.
Really? So this is 3 years.
So yes, it has to go.
You're a man of your word.
I'm a man of my word.
Well, let's not delay.
Let's
hop to it.
It is going to be scary. I think what we'll do is we'll take the guard off this. We'll risk.
Bring out the big guns.
Bring out the big guns. How do you get this off? Oh, I see.
You clogged it up already.
This is the beer that keeps on giving.
The bird just flew out.
I haven't seen parts of me I haven't seen for a very long time.
Wow. Now, what will you cut off if they raise $40,000 next year?
Let's not go there.
And when you're done there, if you wouldn't mind touching me up there just a little.
Suddenly my face is a lot shorter.
You're not going to believe this, but there's a hair in my Martini. Is it painful? Is it pulling?
Only to my soul.
I have to say, here in the men's room of the Charity Randall Theater, I feel really close to you right now. I think that's a woman's razor. And that's for ladies to shave their legs. And whoever way, you should hear his name or something. You really use some art in here. Do you think this is the most exciting thing that's ever happened in this men's room?
I'm too much of a gentleman to answer that question.
Wow, another razor. Did you wear that one out?
There he is. I haven't seen him for a while.
Well, here's to 21,000 in donations and a clean-shaven face.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the good support of PICT.
Oh, of course.
Without whom none of this would have been possible.
Hello, young man.
I know.
Look at this, fresh face.
Fresh face.
And ready to take on the world.
I'm only a child.
I gotta hand it to you. That was very courageous of you.
Well, yes. As I say, none of this could have happened but for the generous patrons of PICT Classic Theatre. I bless you all.
So you are ready to tackle Waiting for Godot.
That's correct. That's our next show.
You know, I've learnt that Godot is the correct pronunciation.
It is Beckett's preferred pronunciation in English. Mm-hmm. There are lots of theories. Who is Godot? What is Godot?
I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's get down to the name thing.
Yes.
There is a phrase in the Irish, Godot, loosely meaning forever or always. But Beckett didn't say he got it from there. There are lots of other possible sources for it. He said himself, it's not God.
Now, I have seen this play, I have read this play, I was even in a student production of it in college, and I still beg the question, what is this play about?
And without wishing to give you a trite answer, the play is about everything. It is about the nature of human frailty. And the play is explained, Beckett himself said, it's explained in Lucky's speech, this famous speech that Lucky makes. Lucky's only got 2 lines. One is 5 words long and the other is 2 pages. But Lucky's speech explains what the play is about, and it's redefined over and over again. If I were to give a simple answer, what is Waiting for Godot about? It's about waiting. In other words, you get born and you die. What do we do in the meantime?
Wait.
Precisely. We are always waiting for something. And what we're waiting for is an expectation, be it an expectation of a meal, a job, a marriage, a child, anything. We spend our lives in a position of waiting. And what is Godot? Godot is what you're waiting for.
It's so complex yet so simple.
It is utterly simple. The whole point about the play is that it is not complex. The play is simple. It is a simple proposition of the games we play while waiting.
Now, this is not your first time wrestling with Godot.
No, as I mentioned, this very play was the reason I came to Pittsburgh. What I always described as my mothership, since I am a resident alien, my mothership was the Gate Theatre in Dublin, and I worked there, man and boy, for 35 years. Back in 1988, we did a production of Waiting for Godot, and the plan was that Beckett would come and direct it, but he was ill and couldn't do it. So the version we were going to do was his own revision of the play, which had taken place in 1975 at the Schiller Theatre in Germany, when he re-edited the play and finally sort of drew down the roadmap of how he wanted the play to be done. And he worked with a German director called Walter Asmus, who was his assistant. Walter, because Beckett couldn't come and direct it, Walter came and directed it, and we followed very much the absolute guidelines that Beckett had laid down at the Schiller, including the edit. And to the best of my knowledge, this is only the second time that edit's been done in America. The first time that I know it was done here was in 2007 in the Byam Theatre by the Gate Theatre when I was in it, and now today we got special permission to use
that's what
to
brought
use this
you here
version.
to...
So that was it. I came to. We were on. We with that particular production, we toured the world. China, Australia, all over Europe. We did 3 tours of America. We did Canada. 20 years. So in my first sort of full season, planning the season, I do think that it is the most significant play of the 20th century. I think this was the play, in the way that Shakespeare changed the way plays were written. I think Beckett in the 1950s changed the way plays were written forever. I could do this play for the rest of my life, and very possibly may.
Waiting for it to
waiting for it to end. And still keep finding new things, because in all those 20 years, there was never a performance that we didn't come off stage and say, I spotted that. That was interesting. You did something there. You just keep finding things.
It keeps on giving.
It's a play that keeps on giving, yeah.
So,
rather like my beard.
Right.
If somebody was coughing in the audience and he was in the theatre, he'd go over and nudge them and say, stop coughing, But because it was insulting to the play.
But who hasn't had the urge to do that?
Oh, I constantly do.
You actually do it?
No, I don't do it. But Macbeth.
Are we allowed to say that here in the theatre?
Yes, you're on the stage, so you're okay, you're safe. I think. I didn't wear a beard when I played Lady Bracknell here.
Although that
which
would
I
have
thought
been
was
funny.
it would have been fun.
Yeah.
No, but I think it was wise not to. It was absurd enough that I was playing Lady Bracknell.
And if there might be some left in the budget to get me some new shears, you really dulled these down. And I love the material here. Look what we've picked for you.
Well,
did you come up with that clever slogan
Yes,
there? Really? Is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've got to get into that. Yes,
How
cheers. Indeed.
Civilized.
Indeed.